Hello and welcome to the dullest week in the sporting calendar. We had no Formula One, we had no football to speak of. NFL still doing summer/winter holidays.
That's the longest break in the world, NFL, isn't it? How long do they have off?
6 months.
About 9 months.
Yeah, they play for 6 months. They have 6 months on holiday. Formula One took a week off to travel around the world. And I'm not prepared to even talk about the international football that happened because I'll end up very stressed with very high blood pressure, and we won't be any closer to.
Well, unfortunately, you managed to watch it, and I didn't, because it's the first time since I moved here I found a game of football not actually shown on Australian TV.
There's probably a very good reason for it.
Every EFL game, Championship, League One, League Two. I can watch all the Premier League games. I can watch Spanish La Liga, German football, but I couldn't watch England on any channel. It wasn't even a thing.
And you, because of that, are the luckiest Englishman alive.
Well, I mean, I Googled it to try and find a stream for it because I've got every platform out here possible, and none of them had it on one of their tiles at the top. So I Googled it, and obviously then I found the result out. I tried to Google it in a way that would tell me where it was shown and not the result. And I didn't believe it. I had to click on and read it. It was quite unnerving, to be fair.
Nope. The word you're looking for was terrible.
I mean, I did say last week that every time I watch England, it's like Man United. I almost feel like they can't be any worse. And then they are. And, I watch United lose to somebody. And I think, well, at least next week we can't be as bad and we're worse. I said that about England against Andorra. And we've been worse.
Yes.
Considerably worse by all accounts. We're now fighting in camp. I mean, it's literally a epitome of World War III, this, isn't it?
We scored early on. Gordon should have had a second and probably would have put the game to bed. We didn't. And then Kyle Walker decided he can't run or read the game anymore because he's now 97 years old. And we have no formation. We have no plans. We have no heart. We have no desire. I don't. It's like watching. If you remember post the last golden generation that we had that did so well, we had this weird period in about 2008 to 2012 where everything just looked really bad. The squad looked bad. The players, you thought, they're not good enough.
I don't even know who lined up for it. Oh, we played a different goalkeeper.
We did. Trafford played.
Wow.
He made probably 4 or 5 decent saves because defensively in front of him we were pretty bad.
So we lined up.
He'd apparently set up the squad to be more physical and more defensive because he was concerned about Senegal. I laughed, and it turns out he should have been worried about Senegal because we are terrible. And there is no way.
Is that his tactic?
There is no way that you look at, like we said last week, going into a World Cup where Italy, France, Spain, Brazil, Argentina, Germany look at England and go, you're a threat. The only threat we are is that they laugh so hard while playing against us that they fall over, and that's the only way we win.
We need putting in a big, soft, padded room in one of them white jackets so that we don't hurt ourselves. That's where England.
No, I do that every time I watch.
I mean, we've said all we can say about England, haven't we? It's like, like I say, it's like sitting here week after week going on about Manchester United. We don't get any better. And United don't get any better, and England don't get any better. We just seem to have hit a level now, don't we? And you almost think every week, well, we've hit rock bottom. Tuchel now can't do any worse, can he? But
I find a way.
You just feel like that's not really a way to look at something, though, is it? We can't get any worse than last week, but there's nothing to say we're going to get any better.
Bearing in mind, later this year, we play Wales in a friendly. They ended up losing 4-3 to Belgium, having been 3-0 down and put in a serious fight and a serious shift. They showed...
But that's the word, isn't it? Fight.
Yep. They've got fight, they've got heart, they've got desire, they've got a will to play for the shirt and a will to play for each other. We've got a will to be a bunch of overpaid prima donnas.
Man for man against Senegal, if you win your battles, as they say, you are better than your opposing player in every aspect of the pitch. We beat them because we are better than them technically. We've got better players than them. So it's about 11 players, or 10 players, 'cause you can't really have a goalkeeper on goalkeeper battle, but it's about 10 players winning the battle against 10 other players, isn't it? And taking responsibility for your part of the game.
And it was a
I haven't
total.
watched the game, so I can't say, but I would say that if I did watch it, most players would have come out worse off than their opposing player. And that's not winning the battles, is it? That's not.
If I was to sum that game up in as fast and as briefly as I possibly can, because I'm already bored of it, too slow, too narrow, lacking ideas, lacking passion, lacking desire to play for the shirt. Done. Sums up England. It sums up England probably for the last 20 years. It's too slow, it's too narrow. It's void of ideas. It is what it is. It's not going to get better because apparently no matter what manager we put in there, nothing changes. So I then say, is this an FA style of play? Is this what the FA are telling the managers they want? Because how can every manager, from Steve McLaren to Roy Hodgson to Fabio Capello to the German guy we've got now, all come up with the same style of football? So I don't believe it to be physically possible that 6, 7 different managers have had this job. Every one of them plays the same way. It can't be.
The players we've had before don't lead you to think that that's the way you would play, do you? You don't look at our team and think we need to be narrow, we need to be negative. You almost feel like we should be playing the sort of 2000s Real Madrid style football where it's almost too attacking type football. We should be overly attacking because we've got so much attacking talent where we're all sitting there thinking, fucking hell, we've left 2 up back on their own again. We're all bombing forward. But you could almost sort of accept that a little bit if we were like gung-ho and going for it. But we almost seem to have a great attacking talent and we all just sit in a little shell because we're scared to express ourselves and do what we need to do.
Yep.
We don't want him to go anywhere. And I'm like, you almost feel like they just need to be let loose and say, go and play the way you play for your clubs.
But how long we've been having this discussion for 20 years, and we keep coming back to the same questions, problems that don't have answers. Why are we so slow? Why are we so negative? Why do we insist on passing it across the back line for an hour? Why do we not play to the strengths of the squad? Why are we not concentrating on putting the right players in the right areas of the pitch and giving them the ball? 6 managers in a row have had the same problem.
Football, but we're English, aren't we? So we don't play that way.
Exactly. So, and I don't get this obsession with we must play a certain way. You play to what is the best of your player.
Yeah. I mean, I look at England and think the way that sort of United played in the 90s would suit England. Plenty of width, overlapping fullbacks, sort of even the sort of big man, little man combination up front with Kane and somebody close round off him. Almost a 4-4-2 type setup would suit England a lot better than this fandangled, whatever we call it, where we've got inverted fullbacks and inverted wingers and inverted strikers and inverted goalkeepers and inverted managers. And everyone's inverted now, aren't they? No one's, you're right-footed, you play on the left, but you're cutting on your right. And I'm like, why don't you just play on right? Because obviously you're right-footed. It would help you a lot. Everyone's inverted, aren't they? Nobody plays in a natural position. And I know you're simplifying a lot, but your 2 fullbacks getting the outside of 2 good wingers who can cross a ball would suit England to me because we've got all that quality. But we're trying to play Barcelona-style football and we're Accrington Stanley when it comes to that level of stuff.
But the thing is, though, you've just nailed it there. Simplify it. It's what the game needs across the board. Stop overcomplicating things. Stop trying to reinvent the wheel. Get the ball forward because that's where you can score.
Yeah.
You can't score in your own back line.
But if you're playing against these teams and everyone's condensed in the middle of the park, surely the simple solution is to attack from the wider areas where there's less people, there's less congestion. Let's get wide and let's get the ball forward and attack. We've got some great wide young players. Why can't the right foot play on the right wing and the left foot play on the left wing and they get to the byline, they get the ball across and we've got 2 or 3 men running into the box? I don't understand why that's suddenly such a frowned upon way of playing and we have to play 4-yard passes and there has to be 62 passes before you're allowed to take a shot, and 15 of them have to be between centre halves, and your goalkeeper has to have a touch in every move, because if not, it's inverted and it's it's like travelling in basketball or something. It's just fucking. It's the most complicated. I mean, that build-up playing football now is that complicated. I don't even think you could explain it to somebody. It is like watching fucking NFL, isn't it? There's like a play sheet every time you get the ball.
Yeah.
You know, when he gets the ball here, you're going to run across and you're going to do a diving run and you're going to stop and you're going to go long and he's going to come in and protect you. And it's like, fuck me, it's not that complicated. You just got to get it in that square thing at end of pitch.
And once they've done all that moving, they pass it 3 yards to the right to the centre half.
They give it away. And you think, well, fantastic, that's worked well. We could have gave it away 45 yards further forward by just tonking it long and letting Harry Kane nod it on.
The other thing that happened a lot against Senegal, which you're lucky you didn't see because it would have probably pushed you over the edge, passing these short passes, but behind the player to the wrong foot.
This is United. I mean, I keep referencing this is a United thing, this.
It's just...
when the defender, and I get it, so the defender gets the ball and he steps out and he drives 10 yards forward and then he plays it left to a player and he plays it behind him. So that player has to turn around, get the ball, and then to have a touch to get it onto his left foot to then go forward. And I'm like, we've just lost all the momentum that you gained by making that 10-yard run. Next time, just stand still and pass it to the guy. And he's like, and I watch United, I watch every minute of every United game. I could honestly, 50% of United's passes are either to the wrong foot. Now, don't get me wrong, footballers should be able to play with both feet, but it makes common sense to play it to his foot that he's going to use to play the ball forward. And in front of him. I mean, this is stuff I was taught as a 7-year-old. Play the ball to his foot and in front of him so he can step onto it.
I know why they can't. Because they're all inverted, nobody knows who's using what foot anymore and everybody's just confused.
They've inverted the foot, so he's left-footed, but he's inverted to a right foot. But he's playing on the left side, he's cutting into the right. So which foot does he kick with? I'll just play it in between, and we'll just
pass it backwards and let him
maybe
figure it out.
Maybe they look at the right winger and they think I play it to his right foot, but then they forget that he's inverted and he's actually a left foot. And then he's like Anthony, he's got no foot, he's got 3 right feet, and he can't kick it anyway.
Yeah, he missed from 3 yards.
It's just so simple. It's just, to me, it's just the simple things. If you're watching an England team that can't pass, to the foot of the player that they're playing with, and most people are right-footed, but and in front of them, so they can come on to the ball, then you need to be having a word with your players, don't you? Because that's simple stuff, that.
Yeah.
You look back at the great Barcelona sides of 1- and 2-touch football, it worked because they could do those things. 1- and 2-touch football wouldn't have worked if it was 2 yards to his left-hand side and he was right-footed, because he'd have had to have 15 touches to control it. So you've got to do the basics, and that's down to the players as well. But I see it a lot, and like I said, I've said it to you, Anna, a few times. Why can't they just? Why is this simple thing not done anymore in football? And then we wonder why we can't break on teams or counter-attack teams. Well, the momentum gets lost, doesn't it? Because he don't know which footed he is now. He's totally confused. And the amount of footballers that can't play with both feet, fucking hell, don't get me started on that one.
I think England are in a situation now where the chances are we'll qualify for the World Cup because we're playing.
That's my problem, because we're going to limp there, aren't we? And you almost feel like
we'll probably limp to the last 16 or the first 16. I don't know how many rounds of 16 there are in this World Cup anymore, but we'll get to some round of 16. We'll play a half decent team and we'll get to extra time and lose on penalties. And then we'll all come home. We'll say how much of a disaster it was, and then we'll wash, rinse, repeat in 2 years' time in the Euros, get to a quarter final because there's more chance of getting there because of who we're playing, lose on penalties, come home, say it was a disaster, wash, rinse, repeat, World Cup in 4 years' time. And then we'll do this until we're both 90 and still haven't seen any good football from the last 33 England managers, and we'll still be passing the ball into the right area of the pitch.
Yeah, I'm less confident of us winning a trophy now than I was 10 years ago, put it that way.
Yes, I am.
That, to me, is not progression.
The bit that I find really strange, though, is 3 years ago, probably even less, we were saying, and not just us, there was people in the media, there was people in foreign countries saying England have the best team on paper. How have they all vanished? Where have they gone?
I think we went into that last tournament with one of the best teams around. And
where are they all?
Well, they've all inverted and left. Some of them have become pilots. Some of them have become chip shop owners. I don't fucking know, mate. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I don't know half the people. I mean, watching England's like kind of like watching Chelsea. I have to Google the players to find out who the fuck they are because I don't know. I've got no idea. They say names, and I just think, is that our player? Is that their player? I don't fucking know because I've never heard of him. We seem to have just like plucked a team of mediocrity from nowhere, don't we? Like we're not picking people on form, and we're not picking people because of the name. We're just picking people because they've not got a cap, and we feel like. I mean, more people got an England cap. They've got fucking passport, haven't they? It's fucking unbelievable.
I mean, we've managed to do the most English thing ever. Let's be honest. We've managed to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory, and we've done it on such a grand scale.
Last 3 tournaments.
That it's now seeping into every sport that we do. If you look at Lando Norris yesterday, he's snatched defeat from the jaws of victory. Ronnie O'Sullivan managed to do it for years, snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. It should become the country's motto or slogan. Get rid of the cross of St. George, just defeat from victory is what it should just be as you enter Dover.
If you can't lose, then play us.
It's just,
it just goes. The kid just keeps going, doesn't it? And keeps going and keeps going. And I think England just need leaving. When are England back? They're a while now, aren't they?
September, hopefully. And I'm hoping that's
June, July.
Too soon.
Well away. Football will be back by then. We can forget about them again.
Because I don't think we play now until we ruin the start of the Premier League season by having 34 international breaks in the first 8 weeks of the season. You ruin the whole flow of the Premier League.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody gets injured. And then we've no idea what's going on. Yes, so we play Andorra at home on the 6th of September. Now a massive tie, apparently, because we're that bad. Away at Serbia, we could lose 14-0. Who knows? We then play at home to Wales in a friendly in the 9th of October. That could be literally a car crash.
I mean, surely when we've got no one to play properly, can't we just not play and rest the people that we should be playing?
Yeah, I mean, it would be a much better idea for us just not to bother. The less England play, the better we look. It's like Ferrari. The less they do, the better they are.
If it's a 3-stop strategy, Ferrari are finishing it bottom half at the table, don't you? Because they've got to touch the car too often. If we're going to play more friendly, we're going to be struggling.
The better we'll look because nobody.
The better your opinion's going to be of them because over time you forget how bad they were, don't you? So if they don't play for 6 months, you actually start to believe England are good again, and then they play and you realise they're not. So if they don't play for 18 years, we'll probably think we're world champions. It's probably a great idea.
Or we go down the North Korean method of just changing history and not telling the population, and we'll just tell the population.
Bombing everyone. I don't think that's a good idea. I know we've got Germany in charge, but that's
they still believe. I think they won the 2002 World Cup.
Well done. I mean, we could do that. Yeah. Shall we just write it in history, put it out on Sky Sports, and just pretend it's real?
Yeah. We'll just do that because that's the only way we're ever going to win anything. Or we all just become Italian or Spanish or French.
But that's what annoys you, don't it? Because the Italians and the Spanish and the Germans, they all go through these phases of having really shit teams and then come out and win something. And we go through a phase of having a really shit team and come out and get a really good team and don't win nothing.
When does our phase of having a shit team end?
It's just, you get a really good, when you go into a tournament, you just think there's a really good German team. They're going to win it, and they do. Or the French or the Spanish. When they've got a good side, they go and win the tournament. When they've got a shit side, they struggle. But we don't. We've got a shit side, we lose. And when we've got a good side, we're worse. And I feel like calling MLSky back at this rate and just putting him up front or with some magic from him. I mean, it's just.
But yes, so that was the week in football, and it was a very terrible week.
Well, it could get worse because I've read something today, and I don't know if I said today, the other day, and I don't know if you've ever heard of this. So, Sheffield United manager is not Neil Warnock.
Chris Wilder.
That's the guy. And he's possibly going to be sacked very shortly because Sheffield United have signed a number of players recently using AI.
I'm sorry, what?
Exactly. I don't know. I didn't read about it because I don't want to know. But how do you sign a player using AI? I understand how you can write a CV using AI or maybe a job advert. I'm not sure how you sign a player. So they've signed some guy. The one guy that caught my eye is, well, I can't say his name because all the letters are jumbled up. He's from Bulgarian top flight outfit Botev Plovdiv. And they've used the new AI transfer model to sign him. So no one's watched him. But
I don't understand anything you've just said.
ChatGPT has said he's a good player, so they've bought him.
I'm sorry. You might as
And
well
Chris
use
Wilder said,
Football
"This is not how you
Manager."
buy players. I'm not okay with this." And they've said, "Well, fuck off then," basically. And
You
I'm
might
like,
as well have logged on to Championship Manager, checked his stats, and then gone, "We'll buy him because he's good on there."
Sheffield United's new AI produces 2 bonus signings.
Bonus signings?
I mean, literally, it's plucked players from thin air. You know, like when you're in like season 22 on Championship Manager and all the players you knew have gone, and they just regurgitated names. They're like Paul Giggs and David Ronaldo. It's like that's what it is. It's just they just literally pulled random people using AI to sign players. I don't know how that works.
Again, why are we reinventing the wheel? We've had a
Complicating,
system of how to find footballers
by
for
watching them with
200
your
years.
eyes. Yeah, 2 eyes. That's all you need. 2 eyes. You don't need 1 eye really. Cover one up. Just watch them. Do they look
And
like
see
they
how
can
they
do what
good.
they need to do? Yep. Well, we'll sign him then.
Can he pass the ball 3 yards to a player at the side of him, in front of him, to the right place? Yes, quick, buy him, because that's all we need. I don't need a computer to...
I don't know how a computer can evaluate a player's performance in the Bulgarian top flight and assess that that's going to make him good enough for the championship.
I'm guessing all it does is use stats. So he's run 7 miles a game.
I can produce great stats on a football pitch. They might not be the stats that are any good to anybody, but I could run around a lot. I could sprint pretty quick. I'm quite quick at running, or I used to be. You know, I could have 55,000 touches if no one came near me. You know, I could just keep going at keeper and playing 1-2s with him for 15 minutes. You can anyone create stats, but is the guy any good at fucking football? That's what we need to know. You know, there's no point having a goalkeeper that's made 55,000 saves, but is playing against, you know, a guy with 1 leg. I mean, what fucking else? You know what I mean? How's that work?
As always, we don't script this podcast. I didn't know the conversation we were going to have today. I didn't expect the conversation to get to AI signing footballers.
Yeah. So
that was not on my bingo card of where we might
agents
get
are going to be out of a job next because the computer is going to sign the players for you. I mean, there's going to be some pretty dire footballers coming around, isn't there?
Oh, one last thing I want to talk about with football. If you have more, by all means, carry on. The FIFA World Club Cup started last night. It was a 0-0 draw, and that's the end of that competition. We'll all move on. There we go.
Who's played?
Inter Miami played Al Hilal. Al Hilal? Al Hilal?
Well, the report I've said is Lionel Messi lights up the Club World Cup.
It was 0-0.
0-0.
He turned on the lights.
Turn the lights on.
Yeah.
Did he walk in the ground and go? No. I mean, I didn't see the score, but I just read the headline. I thought they must have won like 5-0 with a Messi hat.
That was 0-0. But in fact, while I've now touched on this subject, so DAZN have now given away all the games for free. As long as you sign up to DAZN, you can watch everything.
£1 billion for.
And everybody can watch it for free.
I mean, if you go back 4 episodes, I did say, how are they getting this money back?
They're not.
I don't think this business model's quite come off, has it?
And then there was a report midweek saying that the opening game was in a 60,000-seater stadium. They'd sold 22,000 tickets, so they started giving them away for $3. And I think if you were a student, it was sort of buy one, get one free. So the interest in this tournament is immense.
If you were a student, you could take 4 friends.
Yeah, so there you go. So literally,
it's like going to Cheltenham, isn't it, to watch their football team, and you can, like, you know, if your dog goes, you can take your dad and your granddad as well. It's like, how's this the greatest tournament in the world? I mean,
basically, they're making $12 on 5 tickets.
Anyone, are they? No one's actually flown out there to watch their team.
No.
In a tournament that no one cares about. So it's only local people, and you've got it in America where no one even likes football. So, you know, it's like the 5th biggest sport in America, and there's only 4 sports. So I mean, it's like you couldn't have had it in a worse place. Because if it had been in Wembley, you'd have got a chance of filling the stadium because people actually have football as the main stadium. But in America, no one likes football. So you're literally asking the locals to fill the stadium to watch a sport that no one understands or is interested in.
Yeah, it was literally crazy.
For America to be interested, it has to be broken down to 4 quarters or 3/3 for them to start play anyway. And they have to be able to use the hands, from what I can see, because I can't think of any other American sport they don't.
And it needs to last 6 hours.
So yeah, it's not long enough. They don't use the hands, and it's not broken into enough periods.
So yes, it was all, yeah, but yeah, I haven't
watched it, and after your glowing review, I won't bother.
Nope, the stadium was empty, and nobody watched it on TV. And funnily enough, though, Inter Miami managed to play at their home stadium. No, they didn't. No, yes, they did. Hard Rock Stadium in Miami would be their home stadium, I would assume.
I think
so they managed to play a home game. But there we go. I'm done with football for now until the Premier League returns.
Well, I did have one little thing that I was going to ask you, and it came from watching another podcast, and it was just an idea I had. I want to ask you to give me your favourite or your best 3 players from the Premier League era.
Oh,
off the top of your head, you don't have to think about it too much. It was quite interesting because 4 people gave their 3 and nobody gave the same 3 players. And I thought, just goes to show how different people view. And mine's quite construed because I'm obviously a United fan and we had a good era of, I just wondered 3 players that you could think of. They don't have to be the best in the world, or just 3 players that you look at from the Premier League and think, yeah, if he were here now, I'd actually go and pay to watch him.
I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it by just picking one from each position and miss the goalkeeper because... No, I'll put a goalkeeper. I'll give you 4. So, Thierry Henry.
Yep.
Steven Gerrard. John Terry. Peter Schmeichel.
Wow. Well, we have got one the same.
Thierry Henry.
Yeah, Thierry Henry. My 3 were Ronaldo, because I think is the greatest player ever. Ryan Giggs, because he's the one person that got me into football, and Thierry Henry, because I think he's the only player to not play for Man United that was just unbelievable to watch. And it was him who was talking, and they were talking about the favourite players, and I thought it was so strange that nobody seemed to pick the same people.
And I wouldn't personally pick Ronaldo because I don't think we saw the best of Ronaldo in the Premier League. So if you're looking at his time in the Premier League, I think there were better players when he was in the Premier League.
Yeah, I looked at it as a way of, if I had to shell out £100 now to go and watch somebody, I'd have gone and watched Ronaldo every day of the week because he had all his downsides. He was petulant, but when he did things right, you were just in awe of him, weren't you? And I think Henry was the same, and Ryan Giggs. They used to run at players and beat players, and you just used to think, like I say, it's gone now, isn't it? People don't do that. Last time you saw a player
sideways
run at a fullback and just leave him for dead and go and do something special? They don't, because they've got to pass 15 times before they get to that point, haven't they? But yeah, it was interesting to see that you've picked out somebody. So the other one that I'd got asked was, who would be your favourite? No, that's not the right way. What's your best Premier League team? And by that, I don't mean the 11. I mean in eras. So the 1992 Man United team, or the 1997 Arsenal team, or maybe a pet team of recent. Which team, if you had to go and pay to watch? And once again, mine's totally biased, so I can't really. If you had to pick a team out from an era and say, that's the team you get to watch for the rest of your life, which team would you go and sit and watch week after week?
From the Premier League?
Premier League team, yeah.
We're going to end up with the same answer here. I know we are. And bearing in mind, we haven't discussed this. It's the 98-99 Man United team.
Yeah, well, that's where I went, yeah. But I did think, like, the early Mourinho teams were good, weren't they? There was the Wenger Invincibles. There was, obviously, Pep's had 1 or 2. I don't like Pep's style of football, so it doesn't excite me so much. I know they are very good, but it's not something I can't wait to watch.
No.
I can sit and watch Barcelona currently because the way they attack is just, it's old school.
I was between the Arsenal Invincibles or the United 98-99 team.
I think if I'd have been neutral, I'd have been the same. I went 99 because I thought that was just, the feat was out there.
The feat was unbelievable. The way you came from behind in games, but then like Juventus, San Siro, them sort of performances. The Champions League final, it's dead and buried. There's a minute and a half left, and you pull out that. But also the players. I mean, United. Bear in mind, I'm not a Manchester United fan. For anybody who doesn't know, I have no allegiances to that club whatsoever.
Well, you usually laugh at them, actually.
Yeah, I quite enjoy doing that. Actually, it's quite an enjoyable pastime of mine. Man United of that era gets a lot of stick for buying the Premier League. They didn't. You looked at that team.
Oh,
It had Butt, it had Beckham,
not when
it
you
had
look at what
Giggs,
the teams are doing now.
it had both Nevilles. They'd built a squad. And the unity in that squad, as much as they had fallouts in the dressing room that Schmeichel fell out with Roy Keane when he came back from injury and other captaincy and things, when the chips were down,
they pulled together.
That team could do
sort of like
unbelievable
what
things.
We've said England don't do, basically, over the last.
You've got a strike partnership in York and Cole that just understood where one would be, where the other was going, what the other was thinking, where they needed to be in relation to what they're doing. And then beyond that, you look at, you'd got Sheringham and Solskjaer that would come on, and if it was a disaster, it very quickly wouldn't be, because Solskjaer would come on and score a hat-trick in 8 minutes, or Sheringham would play 2 or 3 unbelievable passes, and then you've got Beckham, that one of, if not the greatest passer of a football I've ever watched in 30 years of football. You've got Giggs on the other side. You've got the middle of Butt, Keane, Scholes, depending what the situation required. You've got a solid back line with the greatest goalkeeper that's ever played in the Premier League, and I won't have that even disputed in any way, shape, or form. It's not a discussion. He is just the greatest goalkeeper ever been. And then you've got a right back in Gary Neville, who wasn't the greatest footballer in the world, but somehow managed to be a brilliant defender. It wasn't,
but it goes to show, doesn't it, what desire and passion. Like Gary Neville said, if he'd played for anyone else, he'd have been a championship level footballer. But because he played for United and it was his United, it just meant more. Jamie Carragher for Liverpool, not a fantastic footballer, but gave 110% because it was his Liverpool. I even look at someone like Steven Gerrard, a fantastic footballer, don't get me wrong, but it meant more to play for Liverpool, didn't it? It just meant more. It was his Liverpool. It was like, had he gone to somewhere else, it wouldn't have been as good because it just wouldn't have meant the same to him. Totti playing at Roma, fantastic footballer, one club man, but it meant more to him because it was his club.
At Milan.
Yeah, these players play for a club because they look, and that's where we've lost now, haven't we? We've just got people playing for your club who just want money. They don't care. No one cares about. People give Bruno a stick, and he's one of the few people that does care, and he's got his own crazy ways of going about it. But it must be so frustrating to actually give a shit and play with 10 other people that just all they're doing is ordering a new Bentley and buying a new house and can't wait to go on holiday. And it frustrates the life out of you.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at some of those late European goals from Gerrard that have saved Liverpool, if he does that for Chelsea, it doesn't mean the same. Do it to it.
Doesn't mean the same.
Does it, like you say? It means more that he saved Liverpool.
I mean, Man United have had some pretty bad players through that era as well, but a lot of them just, you look at people like Ji-sung Park, and you're like, he doesn't get in any other Premier League team. No one would ever buy him, but he just found a way to make United matter to him, and he just used to do things that
kind of became a cult legend at your club.
He just became a player that you were like, if you play away at Bayern Munich and you're in the team, there's a reason, isn't there? People like people like that got in the team that mattered. Whereas now, you just look at it now and just think, there's nobody like that, is there? We don't have that.
If you're at home to Senegal and you're in the team, there's a reason. I have no idea what those reasons are, but there will be.
No, but yeah, it'll be on a piece of paper in a fire somewhere right now. Anyway, that was just my my takes from the week of watching somebody else's podcast, and it was quite interesting just to see people's. Obviously, I fall into the Gary Neville category. I'm very biased, so like Gary Neville does, we always pick a Man United player and a Man United team. So it was nice just to speak to someone who's sports a shit. Oh, I sports a shit club. Who sports a shitter club than me somehow, and see what your opinions were.
And again, we go back to this thing. We playing red, you playing red, England occasionally playing red. Stop playing in red. It doesn't work.
Ferrari is shit. England is shit. United is shit. Barnsley is shit. I mean, the only team I watch that don't play in red are Perth Glory, but they are still shit. England
cricket team sometimes playing red, and they're normally terrible.
Yeah, they're shit. There's a lot of red balls on snooker, and we're shit at that. Didn't we lose to Germany at darts last night as well?
Yes, we lost to the Germans at darts last night. I mean, the two best players in the world at darts.
Great at now.
Yeah.
Can we? We'll be good at skiing next, won't we? The helmet thing.
No, because we don't have any snow. Global warming, so we can't have snow.
We should be good at swimming. It rains enough.
No. probably not good. I don't know. I couldn't even
moving
go
on
swimming.
to the. I'm not sure whether today. I don't know when it happened. The racing. I've got no concept of time when it comes to Canada. I've got a friend over there, and I don't think he's got any concept of time either because it's just mental. So what happened? Because I watched FP1 and I missed FP2 because I wanted to watch qualifying. I didn't have a lot of time. No, that's true. I watched FP1 and FP2. I missed FP3 because I wanted to watch qualifying. George was fastest in FP2, wasn't he?
Yes, he was.
Who
Yeah,
was fastest in FP3? Because Leclerc,
Lando.
I think, was second, wasn't it? Lando was.
Pretty sure it was Lando that was fastest in FP3.
And then Leclerc was second after he crashed in FP1 randomly.
Yeah, he buried it in a hedge, and that was the end of his. He didn't do FP2. He stayed. Obviously, the car was a complete wreck.
So what's happened in qualifying? Where's Lando gone?
Lando's gone to do Lando things. So yeah, just recapping. Verstappen was fastest in FP1. Russell was fastest in FP2. Norris was fastest in FP3. Norris then became very, very English and decided that he would bottle it at the final corner on his first run.
Left at a right-hander. I mean,
pretty much, yeah. So the final chicane goes right-left. He went straight on. So he ignored the chicane, didn't do it.
He still had another shot at it and didn't improve.
He then became very English and very polite and said, everybody else can go faster than me. And I'll be
penalties. I know we talk about Lando a lot, and I keep saying that if he were my son, I'd probably disown him or something. But how can you? I just don't understand how it keeps happening to him. How does you just turn in a performance like that when there's no indications that it was coming?
Surprise!
Well, literally, yeah. I mean, I don't know who more surprised he was seventh, me or him. I just sat there gobsmacked. I'm like, how it's almost an achievement to finish seventh in that car, isn't it? It's like,
yes,
you've actually done something to get to seventh. Not very well, but you've done something to fit. It's like throwing a football up in the air and it going to the moon. It's like, I don't know how you've managed to get it to where you've got it to. It's just fucking unbelievable.
It was harder for him to be seventh than it was for him to be second.
Well, that's, yeah. I mean, that is it. I just don't know how he's come seventh. I mean, is Hamilton ahead of him?
Yes. So the starting grid for today is Russell, Verstappen, Piastri.
Oh yeah, it's today for you.
Tomorrow
I'm not
for
watching
you.
it while tomorrow breakfast. It's fucking mental. I can't get my head around this.
7 p.m. lights out UK time. If you're in other parts of the world, it's 2 p.m. in Canada.
2 a.m.
It's 2 a.m. in Australia, and figure the rest out in between if you live in any other parts of the world, because I literally don't have the patience. So yeah, Russell, Verstappen, Piastri, Antonelli, Hamilton, Alonso, Norris, Leclerc, Hajar, Albon. How is Alonso 6th and Norris 7th?
It's an unbelievable performance to come 7th, and that's not a good thing.
No, it's unbelievably bad.
I mean, what can he do from there now? Would there be plenty of overtakes for him in Canada, won't there, because of the back straight?
The back straight, yeah, but it depends how.
Are we doing any rain?
No, so it should be dry, which is a massive help for him. I think if
any tornadoes,
if George stays in front early on, so Max doesn't kill him or pass him into turn one, both are quite literally possible. The race pace on that Mercedes might be a little weaker than others around it, which means the field doesn't get away. Lando can stay in the race, may be able to do things on strategy. If Max and or Oscar clear Russell early, it's good night, Irene. Lando might as well park up and join. He might as well just go and join the England football team, the England darts team, the England rugby team, the England cricket team, and all go and sit in a dark cave until the end of time.
What's the best they can hope for then? 4th?
Maybe I think the best they can achieve is 4th, yeah.
Because, I mean, Hamilton's not quick at all.
No.
Alonso, you can't imagine the race pace in that Aston can hold off the McLaren. So that makes him 5th. Who else is there? Oh, it was Antonelli. He's only a kid.
He's looked quite off it this weekend, so you'd think his route to 4th.
Well, he's looked off it, and he's 4th. Lando's 7th.
So Lando's route to 4th should be relatively straightforward.
Well, this is Lando. He's got to get it on the start first. I mean, the problem with Lando is what position is he going to come out of turn 2 in?
24th.
It could be. You just don't know, do you? This is my problem. It's probably going to have a brilliant start because it doesn't mean anything today because he's not on pole.
But the problem, well, not the problem, the bit that's exciting for tonight, tomorrow, this afternoon, Tuesday, wherever you are in the world, is Max and Russell going into turn 1 together.
I mean, I'm happy. I mean, I'd sacrifice George if they both don't come out of there. I'm happy to take 1 for team with George. Both lose the wheels.
But Russell has to be smart.
Well, he's quite smart, to be fair to him, isn't he?
Put Max in a position where Max has got to make a decision.
Yeah.
Because if Max is prepared to hang it round the outside, put him towards the grass or make him turn in on you. Because either way, we'll then see what the mindset of Max Verstappen is. Is he prepared to just go, I'll keep going like I've always done? Or is he going to finally hit some sense of rational thinking and go, I'll back out? If he backs out, he could all of a sudden be 4th and 5th, and Lando might still be 9th. But
yeah,
it'd be interesting to see how that dynamic works into turn 1. What does Russell do? What does Max do? Are they both hesitant? And Oscar comes up the inside and passes both of them. But apparently Max Verstappen is pissed off that everybody keeps asking him about his actions. Well, improve your actions then.
It's like saying Tuchel's upset that keep asking why England is shit. Well, stop being shit and we won't ask you. Stop crashing and we won't have to ask you, will we? I mean, if you're George, you've just got to be bullish, haven't you? Turn 1. You've got to be. Can we just say, I mean, what a fantastic pole position as well. I mean, I know we're very negative on this show, but that lap was fucking unbelievable. Where did he get that from? I almost felt like at some point they were going to take the time off him because he must have cut a corner.
I know why he's doing it though. And it's very simple. It can be traced back to about February, March this year.
When I called him shit.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. You said that he's a decent driver, but he's never getting close to winning anything. And since then, he's been on this great run of form of being one of the best drivers in the sport.
I mean, to be fair to him, if he had an ounce of decency, he'd have rung me up and thanked me, but he hasn't.
Or paid you.
So, yeah, it's... what a lap. I mean, just what a lap. I mean, I know he'd been decent all weekend, but he'd not been that decent. I mean, that was... But I mean, when Verstappen went on to provisional pole, I was just about to turn it off because I thought, fucking sick of this. He's back again, isn't he? And then this Mercedes, which obviously must have cut a corner somewhere, I just don't know whether they didn't see it. They didn't have a camera angle for it. Just storms to pole position out of nowhere. I mean,
the only bit about yesterday that I really didn't like, the medium tyre is faster than the soft tyre. I get it because I'm a seasoned fan.
Qualified on the medium, didn't it, in Q3? I'm sure he did. I'm sure Max did his fastest lap on the medium.
And I think then Russell then did the same, did he not?
I don't know, because I was ready to punish the TV because Max were in pole, and then I got a bit excited.
This is my problem. You shouldn't be going into a weekend where none of the tyres seem to work as they're meant to do. Basically, the tyres are inverted, is what we've done.
Oh, they're inverting tyres as well as fullbacks now.
Yeah, so the softs are now the mediums are now the softs, the wets are now the snow tyres, and Lance Stroll still can't drive any of them.
Well, I was just going to say, to be fair to Lance Stroll, he is the only person we've consistently abused. Would that be fair?
I think that's a bit harsh. Not abused, it's true.
And he's not used the power of what we do to make himself any better. In fact, he managed to drive into a wall on the left-hand side of the track yesterday while turning right.
Yes, he did.
I'm not sure how this is, man. I mean, it's not hard to see why he's got a broken hand because he's a fucking liability, isn't he? Where was he going? The track's over there, mate. What are you doing?
He keeps using this hand injury. He won't let anybody see his hand. I'm not buying this whole story that he's had some operation on his hand. I just don't believe it.
His dad's come out and said, look, you're my son, and I can't have you being this shit. So we'll make up a thing. You've had an hand operation and you're struggling and you're fighting through it. Like a player who's got an hamstring injury and you're down to 10 men if he goes off, so he's got to play on. So we're going to keep doing that. But you literally think they'd be better off running one car, wouldn't they? It'd be more cost effective to just run one car and just leave the other one as like an ornament in the car park. Because
he's just bad.
He's bad. I mean, online where you're on Twitter or something, there's always somebody who defends somebody else. I can't stand anyone defending Lance Stroll. Even people that are like the most woke people in the world that defend anything are like, yeah, he's crap. He's just rubbish, isn't he?
Yeah. He doesn't have any...
So is Tsunoda last?
Yes, because of a 10th place grid penalty.
It's not going well for them, is it? I mean, he were rubbish. I mean, what were he, 11th anyway?
He was 14th in Q1, and then he was 11th in Q2.
So, I mean, it weren't going particularly well, was it?
No, and he's got a 10th-place grid penalty for passing somebody under the red flag when
was he not broke? Was he not? I was say, was it not a car that was not fit to drive that he passed?
No, he passed somebody else, I believe. I've not really read into it because I didn't really care.
He passed Piastri, but I thought Piastri was the one that had the crash.
Well, Piastri apparently caused the red flag, but got back going again. So, but if Piastri's then moving, you can't pass him.
The way I understood it is Piastri must have had an accident that took his car, damaged his car, and then overtook him. Oh, well then. He has got no leg to stand on. It didn't make sense. It overtook Piastri, but it was limping back. And I thought, if it's limping back, it's tough shit. You shouldn't be limping.
I mean, you look at Q1 and Stroll managed to beat Liam Lawson. Well done. That's the only person he beat. Wow. Well, Gasly was last, but I think there was problems with that car. But yeah, he beat Liam Lawson.
So what we do know is Stroll's rubbish and Red Bull are pretty much going to ruin Hadjar next. Is that pretty much the setup?
He has to say no to that job. I don't care what they offer him.
Is it impossible to say no to?
For his career, yes, but he has to find a way.
It's almost like when Jack Rodwell went to Man City, isn't it?
Yeah.
You should have never gone there.
He went to Chelsea.
And it was better where he was, but they're going to pay you so much money. You get to play for one of the best teams in the league. You're not going to say no, are you? It happens to so many players. I can't see Hadjar turning around and going, no, I'll just stay and race for your other shit team.
So what he needs to do is avoid the question. So never stand still long enough so they can ask him. Just keep moving.
Here's the contract. What do you mean? Oh, wind's blown it away. Damn it.
Never live in the same house for more than a week. Never stay in the same country more than a month. Just keep moving.
That sounds like a lovely way to live your life. It'd be better if not being a Formula One driver.
It keeps you out of Red Bull right now. It's worth it. Just keep moving.
Constantly live in a caravan and constantly be on the move.
Yeah. Because if you
I just kept looking and thinking, this Tsunoda experiment's not working. I mean, the next one's not going to work, but they've got to. I mean, I think it was Kareem, whatever his name is, Chandok, saying they've just got to realise that it's not going to work and just leave whoever's in the seat because it's getting no better, and they're just making themselves look stupid and ruining good young drivers' careers.
I said this a while ago,
but it's not going to happen, is it?
If you're going to accept that you're going to build a car for Max Verstappen, and I completely understand why you would build a car for Max Verstappen.
Yeah, of course you do.
But if you're going to do that, and I said this months ago, accept that the second seat, unless you can find somebody who has the exact same driving style as Max Verstappen.
That's the last thing you want. It's like
unless you can, without the temperament and without the attitude. But if you find somebody who likes that style of car, fine. If you can't, accept that it's going to be bad, it won't perform, you get what you're given. All this has actually done is make Sergio Perez look like the greatest driver in history.
A lot better, yeah.
Because he basically managed to drag that thing that he couldn't understand halfway up the grid.
And did actually win some races at some point.
So yeah, Red Bull have got to make a decision. We build a car for Max, or we build a stable car that two people can drive. Choice is theirs. Until you've made that decision, you're screwed. basically, and it won't get any better for anybody. But
So
then this led me to another question. There's rumours that Toto Wolff wants Max at Mercedes. Do Mercedes then end up in the same problem that you're going to build a car for Max and you ruin your second car? Does he come? Yes, he can win you a driver's championship. Of course he can. He's the best driver on the grid. But does he come with too much
baggage?
Problems might be the wrong word, but is his style too extreme that you actually ruin your car and your team just to get him?
Possibly. Because they've got another good young driver in Antonelli, and then I'm guessing George makes way if Max comes.
Yeah, that would be the.
So you're not going to move Antonelli on when you've plucked him out, I'm guessing. So, but yeah, I mean, it's a big signing for Mercedes if that happened, isn't it?
Well, the George Mercedes contracts haven't started yet. Apparently, neither side is in any rush to do so. They say they don't need to. I think Merck are holding out to see if anything happens at Red Bull, to see if it all falls off a cliff. It doesn't appear it's going to do. The car seems pretty stable now. He seems to be getting on top of it. So I don't see him leaving. But I don't like what Mercedes are doing. George Russell's driving extremely well. I get who Max Verstappen is. But put a bit of faith in the man that you've brought through your junior program. You've had at Williams for 3 years. You've put him in your team. He's leading your team. He's getting the most out of that car. He's getting your regular podiums. He's on pole for today. Have a bit of faith. Show a bit of, decency towards the guy.
We've said this before, haven't we? There's no loyalty in sport. There's no loyalty from drivers to teams, and no drivers from teams to loyalty. They just don't care, do they? As soon as something better comes along, they'll just jump ship, and you'll just be a nobody to them.
Yeah, true. I just don't particularly agree with it, if I'm honest.
No, I don't. I think it's a bad way to go about business, a bad way to act, and because you end up with a situation like we do in football, where the players don't give a shit about you, you don't give a shit about them, and then you're asking them to go out there and do things on the pitch that they don't really want to do because they don't care about you, because you create an environment where it's about other things rather than the passion of driving or playing for the team you're playing for.
It's all right. We'll just invert it all. Problem solved.
So you have to invert the grid.
Yep. Now that would make Formula One interesting.
But they would. Actually invert the grid and go the wrong way around the track as well. Qualify on the normal route, but you race backwards. That'd change it, wouldn't it? Step the game up.
There's only a few minor technical safety issues there.
Well, the main one would be Lance Stroll would be driving the opposite way to everyone else and heading on to other people. But yeah, other than that, I can't see any problems.
And also, he'd be at the front of the grid, which would be a bigger issue, because if he crashes, then
not for
a lot more people to hit him.
Pressure would get to him. His hand would crack. Well, we've done it again, haven't we?
Yep. We've managed to get through another 50 minutes. We usually at this point would say we'll be building up to the afternoon's football or the Formula One in an hour. We're at neither of those points. There is no football. Formula One is 7 hours away, which is a different day for you.
Yep. Actually, a different week.
Yes, it's a different week depending which calendar you use. There is no NFL. There's the end of the US Open in golf, but that's
I watched them yesterday, and the weather was horrendous. I'm watching golf, and it's raining. The whole idea of golf is meant to be sunny. You're meant to be somewhere exotic. It was pissing it down. The wind was whipping. I'm like, fucking hell, not a chance, mate. Turn that off. Who's winning?
When I went to bed, because obviously it's in America, so I was moving into the early hours of this morning, JJ Spawn was leading with Burns, I want to say his name was.
Burns was leading when I turned it off in the rain, actually, and Spawn was second.
So, yes, it is. I'm trying to find it. I'm making filler noises until I can figure out where the actual results are. Leaderboards. Here we go. So Sam Burns leads 4 under. Adam Scott is 3 under. JJ Spawn is 3 under. Victor Hovland is 1 under. And they are the only 4 people actually playing well. The rest of them are all terrible. And Rory McIlroy is somewhere last, having basically thrown the teddies out of the pram and the clubs on the floor.
Oh, is it? Is it proper thrown one?
Oh, and also said he's been avoiding media duties because, and I quote, I've earned the right to do whatever I want.
Oh, he's not one of them, is he? Has he gone there?
Mm. So he
Oh, that's
avoided
last time
some
I
media responsibilities at the Masters. He then avoided some more at the US PGA Championship a few weeks ago. He then did an interview yesterday, and they were like, why have you been avoiding media and things? And he said, I've earned the right to do whatever I want. Okay.
Oh, that's him burnt then, isn't it? That's done with him.
But he's openly admitted he's struggling for motivation. Now he's won the Masters. He's won everything he needed to win in golf, and he basically can't be bothered. I don't blame him.
No. $19 million in prize money would motivate me plenty. Don't you worry about that.
He's won $250,000. He's worth $250 million. He's won every tournament there is to win. I can see where the motivation would disappear. You don't need the money.
Just retire then.
Exactly.
And don't tarnish your legacy by being a knobhead.
Yep, just call it a day and say,
won everything I want to win. I've got more money than most countries in the world. I'm going to retire. I'm going to be young, retire. I'm going to spend time with my family. I'm going to fly around the world, and I'm going to do a bit of coaching or something. Don't be a dick. And just come out and say I've earned the right. No, yeah, fuck off, tool. Fucking idiot.
Oh, and before we say any more things that we shouldn't say, I can say, for another week, thank you all very much for watching, listening, persevering, putting up with our miserable attitudes while there's no football on and us just babbling on for an hour. And we will speak to you all again very, very soon.
We will.
And I haven't pressed the end button, so now I will. Goodbye.